Welcome to video number 2. And here what we're going to do is we're going to actually use some formulas to restructure this data. We're going to consolidate all of these different columns across here into these 3 columns right here. And we're going to end up with a 4-column spreadsheet when we're done. Much easier to use. If you have other questions about why we're doing this, check out the first video of the series here. And so what we're going to do next is let's use just simple logic. I'm actually going to make these just a little bit more narrow so it's easier to work with here. Again, if you highlight all the columns you want to resize at the same time and resize just one of them, they'll all resize to the same amount or the same width. So segments, that's up here. So let's do this. I notice that every row has just one segment in it. You can see this one is data is for home office. This one has data for consumer. This one has data for corporate, okay? And so using that logic, I can make a simple formula to pull it in. So I'm going to use an OR formula. So I'm going to say, actually not an OR formula right now. I'm just going to go, if this one is not blank, then I'm going to call it consumer, okay? And then I'm going to say, if this one is not blank, then I'm going to call it corporate. Otherwise, I'm going to call it home office, okay? Like this. Getting a little lag with my recording here. And then I'm just going to end it with 2 parentheses. And now, if you might be saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, that's a pretty big assumption because what if all 3 were blank? That's a great point. So that's why I went and checked this work. There are other ways to do this that are a little more specific if you're not totally trusting that the data is, that the pattern repeats itself through all the different rows below. But for this, what we're doing today, this is going to work just great for us. Just for fun, let's just copy this down. If I click on the bottom right part of this little cell here, it's just going to copy that all the way down. And let's check our work. Okay, this one's saying it's consumer, which is good. This one's also consumer. This one's saying it's corporate. And again, I'm looking over to the right to verify. This one is saying it's consumer. Let's go down to this one and see if it should show as home office. Yep, it does. Okay, that formula worked. Now let's do the ship mode. This one's going to look a little bit complex for some of you, but just study the pattern and you should be able to get it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the OR method. So we're going to say equals, and then if, or, so what we're saying is if any of these are true, if that is not blank, or if this is not blank, or if this is not blank, okay, close parentheses, then I'm going to say this is first class, okay? And then same thing here, if, or, down to the same day, if this is not blank, or if this is not blank, or if this is not blank, then I'm going to call it same day, okay? And I did forget my parentheses there. Okay. And then I'm going to say if, or this is not blank, or this is not blank, or this is not blank, and again, close parentheses, then I'm going to call it second class, and an easy one, otherwise it's going to be standard class. We know that from this. I'm going to close the parentheses 3 times. We have 3 if statements. So that's pretty long for a lot of you. It looks really complicated, but once you understand the logic, it's not. So play with that a little bit, but let's just check our work. So this one was standard class because it's got a dollar value there. This one should be second. So let's go ahead and copy it down. Remember, double click the right. This one should be second class. It is. This one should be standard. It is. This one should be standard. It is. This one should be second. Let's try to find one that's supposed to be first class. That one's supposed to be first class. So it looks like our formula worked. Okay. So essentially all we're saying is, if any of these 3 aren't blank, it must be a first class. If any of these three aren't blank, it must be a same day. If any of these three aren't blank, it must be, oops, skipped one. These three aren't blank, it must be second class. Otherwise, it must, by definition or by default, be standard class. So that's that one. Now, in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do the same, do a formula for the sales. So stick with me. Talk to you soon.